Okay, so we just took out Qualag. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ring the bell of awakening down here. And I'm going to fight Ceaseless because not a real boss, I'd say. Like, you can fight him like in a normal boss type way, kind of, I guess, but the way you're actually supposed to beat him isn't really a real fight. He's more of like a puzzle just to unlock the level and to be more fair to him. He's not like a true boss. And it kind of brings up another misconception about the game. I'm gonna beat him what I consider the normal way. A lot of people call it a glitch, or for whatever reason, but I'm about 99% sure this is actually the intended method. In fact, when I first played the game, it's how I won, and I didn't, look up anything online. It's just how it planned out because I'm pretty sure that's what they were hoping would happen. Now, obviously, there actually is a way. Like, you might think, well, obviously, you can't go down there, all that lava. There actually is a way to get across there with the lava still there. And it actually is intended that it was possible. Apparently, they talked about in an interview, and they were wondering, like, who'd be the first person to figure this out. And yeah, it is possible to do, and it's pretty cool. Essentially, the way this fight is, it's basically just free souls once can consistently do it the easy way. It doesn't require any character can do it right at the start of the game with any gear. And you get a free armor set for it, which is actually a pretty good armor set for early game. So it's actually a really good thing to do is, as soon as you can beat Qualag, you get all this extra stuff to go along with it. The lore behind this stuff is actually pretty interesting. That is, I might be wrong. I'm going off memory here. It's been a while, but if I remember right, he is one of the brothers of the Witches of Izalith, and the armor set you're picking up is one of his dead sisters. And the reason he's here is because when they tried to manipulate the First Flame, he also became afflicted. So he's infinitely in pain, burning, and the only thing he wants to do is guard over his sister's corpse. So yeah, you're basically grave robbing one of his family members. So that's why he gets pissed off. And there was an important part there. The reason I stopped is because if you run as soon as you get the armor, that lava attack he does will hit you, and probably at the very least come close to killing you. But once that move is done and you start running, just keep going and don't stop. For the love of God, don't stop. And the first time I did this is actually what I did because I was pretty confident that there was no way I was going to be able to beat this guy. The atmosphere kind of clued me into that. And he will hang on from this ledge. And the reason I'm going barehanded right here is because to get him to lose his grip and fall in the lava, it's based on how many times you hit his hand, not how much damage you do. So it's actually faster to barehand in most cases, because you have pretty fast attack speed and the attacks don't take a lot of stamina. That's just to guarantee he falls. It's not really necessary, but it is more guaranteed. So Ceaseless is done, and I'm using my Homeward Bone, and that's the reason. This is why I didn't use the bonfire by Qualag's domain, so that way I don't have to backtrack out of this area. I can go all the way back to Firelink Shrine. Saves a lot of time. And you might be thinking, well, doesn't that mean you're going to have to go back through Blighttown again? It takes a lot less time to go down than it goes up, so in the long run it saves a lot of time. And I'm probably not going to be going back there for a long time anyway, and by that time I'll be a lot more powerful and it'll be even easier anyway. So this playthrough, I'm going to play nice. I'm going to go with Frampt, because again, it is a casual playthrough. And Frampt does give you some nice early game rewards here, like you can feed him items getting something. And you might be freaking out right now. Why did you feed him a Titanite slab? I think I explained it earlier episode, but it's because they give me more chunks. Because I'm going to get a slab from Calamy anyway, and I only need one. So I basically am getting an extra slab to get an extra chunk, which I break into extra large shards, so I can upgrade my washing pool immediately. Because before you get to Sen's Fortress, getting large shards is actually really hard to do. Most of the geckos don't drop them, they usually drop chunks. And the only way to get them, I believe, is to farm in Blighttown those worms in the very bottom. And the drop rate isn't exactly good, and you don't even get the gold serpent ring until Sen's Fortress anyway. So to me, it makes a lot more sense just to go to Sen's Fortress and get the large shards because there's a ton in there. Basically, the game doesn't want you to get anything above +5 until you at least beat Qualag. Like, yeah, it's possible to get, you know, +6, +7, maybe +8 weapons, but you're going to be farming for a long time, and it's not really worth doing. There's much easier ways to go about beating her. But the game does expect you to start having +10 weapons by the time you get to Anor Londo. And there really isn't any reason not to. Getting +10 weapons by Anor Londo is really easy. So you really should definitely have at least a +10 weapon by the time you go through that level. Because Anor Londo is when the game starts getting like a little more serious. And as you can see, thanks to breaking down my slab into a chunk and then breaking that down, I have quite a few shards already. And look at that, +8, not bad. I'll be doing pretty good damage on those. Yeah, pretty good damage, 256. We're almost getting up to Gravelord sword damage, which is the 300 attack rating margin. Raising my dex. Oh my goodness, the damage. And my strength, maybe? No? I'm thinking about it. 250. Wait, no. Got more souls. Thinking about vitality endurance. 1 point in vitality. I think that was just to make sure that I wouldn't be one-shotted by something. Like maybe Iron Golem boss attack, or maybe one of the Snake Men stronger attacks. Because my damage should be pretty good right now. Now, Sen's Fortress, I always love this level. It's just a fun level to run through, really. See if I can show off any cool tricks here. It's actually a really easy level once you figure it out. One of the easier levels in the game, I'd say. Like, for example, these traps are so easy to get by. Like, it's just not difficult. I don't know how else to explain it. They give you so much time, so much leniency. And that parry was terrible, so I figured, screw it. Just keep going. A situation like that, that's where poise and heavy armor really helps. Because normally that would have been a much worse situation if that put me in the hit stun. Now here it's important to keep your shield up in case one of those spell casts doesn't get hit by the swinging axes. 3 hits, not bad. I activate the trap, so that way in case any lizard men are following me, they'll get hit. And that's an important thing to know. Ooh, large shards. An important thing to keep in mind is that the traps hurt the enemies too, so if you're really on your toes, you can actually use the traps to your advantage. Like that. I don't know why that guy was out there to begin with. He doesn't know the layout of his own frickin' home turf. Now this part can be tricky. Yes, hit that wall with my weak washing bowl. The reason I'm doing this is because I want this guy to listen and chase after me, and so he can get hit by those arrows, or almost kill me. I timed that really wrong. But as you can see, the arrows brought him down to getting killed in 1 hit. So it's a nice little trick to get through here easy. The reason being is that while you're waiting for this boulder, you obviously don't want him still alive. Those arrows make it really easy to get him, take care of him, get him out of the way. Because the timing on this part is pretty strict. You have to start running immediately or you won't make it. And see, as you can see there, I barely made it, and I did that pretty efficiently. Although I could have wore less armor to get a little faster running speed, but then it'd be a little riskier because the boulder would do more damage if it hit me, but either way, it's not, you gotta be pretty fast to get through there. Like for this one here, you can just run straight through. Pretty easy. That guy's not too tough. This part can be tough if you need to take your time because that guy will start shooting at you. But once you realize that you can literally just run through the whole thing, yeah, like that, it's much easier than you might think. So now we're going to keep going. Now this part, again, it's much easier than you think. You literally, if you just keep going through as fast as you can, you will outrun the boulders even if you pick up the items. Yeah, it's that easy. I think people that have problems with Sen's Fortress, I think honestly it's they're overthinking it. They're giving the traps a little too much credit, and when they're really not that hard. They're really not that much to worry about. And yep, gotta make that's a part you have to jump. You can't roll to get through here. I'm almost positive. And it's a real shame if you don't go this way, because it gives you a key that lets you skip the entire level. Like, it's one of the better shortcuts in the game. It literally gives you a shortcut that's very close to the start of the level and puts you basically at the very end of the level. And you need to go this way to get it. So yeah, you definitely want to do that if you're not confident you'll beat the boss. Although the boss isn't too hard, but still, it's a very helpful shortcut. Cage key. And if you don't have the master key, you need to get that key to save Master Logan. Not something this character really cares about, but just food for thought. And there's also an extremely important merchant in this room because he sells large shards. While yes, the giant blacksmith in Orlando sells them as well for even a little bit cheaper price, that's quite a bit farther ways through the game. It's nice to have access to them immediately after beating Quelaag. I don't talk to him right now. I'm not sure why. I actually kind of need large shards. Although I did pick up a few in this level. Maybe I don't need them anymore. And the shortcut is activated. Yeah, I think what I'm doing now is I'm going to go back to Andre to upgrade my sword and see how many I need before buying them, so I don't waste souls. And yeah, another cool thing is you can actually walk into the elevator and then leave before the door shuts on you. It'll still give you the shortcut without having to waste your time going back down. The same way the elevator in the Undead Parish works. Actually, I probably could have just used a Homeward Bone. Well, I'm not too far away. Not a big deal. Actually, I might be trying to show off something with this trap. If it still activates. Yep, yeah, you can just keep running there. Nothing important, just kind of cool. So, Andre, I want to upgrade my weapon some more. Basically, right now, I'm just trying to get it to plus 10 because... And then before so I have to see how many chunks I need to get it to plus 14. Let's see here. Plus 9. And I need 2 more. Not too bad. Actually, was that... How many was it? Actually, I didn't see it. It was 1 or 2. But either way, yeah, I don't need too much more.
Don't get yourself killed.
So yeah, as you can see, getting a plus 10 weapon, really easy at this point in the game. Probably gonna use the rest of my souls to level up, so I don't waste them. Point endurance. 4,000 souls left over. I don't know why I'm using these. I don't think it's gonna work. Although it might as well get rid of them. I don't think they're gonna come in handy anymore. So I've put 1 point in the vitality and 1 point in endurance so far. The rest has been basically dex and enough strength to two-hand the washing pole. So now I think it's time to fight Iron Golem. Another really easy boss, I'd say. And not to mention, they give you a summon for him that basically guarantees you won't lose. A thing that me and a friend do is, if we're co-oping, when we get to this part, we'll summon Tarkus, just to see if he can win on his own. With 2 players in Tarkus, he usually loses, because the more people in the game, the more health the boss gets. But from my experience, if it's 1 human player in Tarkus, a lot of times he'll win by himself. Although I wouldn't recommend that, it's not guaranteed, but it just shows you how easy he makes the boss. And with that shortcut, you don't even really have to risk dying on the way in human form, because you don't even have to do anything. Even if you got invaded, like say you're playing online, the chances of the invader catching up to you and killing you with this shortcut is pretty much 0. Oh, but of course, unless you're doing a challenge run or something, always kill this guy, because he will throw boulders at you in the boss battle. That can make it sort of interesting. That can kind of make it a real fight, because it basically means you're not allowed to go in the middle area, which gives you the most room to fight and not get knocked off. And the boulders do a ton of damage. They're most likely going to one-shot you or come extremely close. So yeah, kill him. And not to mention he gives you a Titanite chunk, which we definitely want. And now it is time to fight Iron Golem. magic weapon. We're going to want that. And if you stand to the right here, that sonic wave thingy will get hit by the debris, and you don't even have to dodge it. And right now I'm trying to target his legs, but it's actually kind of hard because the washing pole is so long. I'm like hitting him in the thigh. I kind of want to hit him in his shins, luring him out here a little bit, which you'll see why. Yeah, I'm kind of trying to attack at a really low angle, so it kind of hooks into his ankles. Yeah, like that. Because I really want... There we go, I got it. Now I'm just going to lay into his other leg. I've noticed that the second attack in the R1 string starts from below, it's guaranteed to hit his leg, and he's done. Just like that. That's a pretty quick boss battle, I'd say. And now we're in Anor Londo. Anor Londo, pretty beautiful location, I must say. Probably one of my favorite areas in the game. Some really cool level design. Really awesome boss. Probably my favorite... one of my favorite boss battles. I'd probably say it's my favorite, although it's... Thanks to the DLC, it's kind of hard to say now. There's a lot of really good bosses. So now we're going to get to the next Firekeeper that you meet in the game. Well, technically that's not true. I could have met another one in Qualag's domain, but I didn't bother because I don't need the bonfire yet anyway. But I'd say probably the first one, the first one after Firelink that most new players are going to meet, because the one in Qualag's domain is pretty fairly well hidden. Gonna level up some. Raise my vitality and endurance 1 more point each, 2 more points, 3 more points. So I think we've gotten 4 points in total to vitality and 4 points in total to endurance since the beginning of the game. Soul Qualag. Wow, she actually does not give you that much. I think that's only the same value as a brave soul of a warrior, or whatever it's called. 8,000. I don't think that's going to be enough. Nope. So right here I get the genius idea of farming some of these knights out here, these giant ones, just to get enough to round out this last level. Because I always hate running around with a bunch of souls on me. It's just a habit I first learned from Demon Souls, really, is to always spend what I have. And I get really, really greedy here, and I basically try to fight both of them at once. Something I wouldn't recommend. The smart thing to do is to aggro one, lure him out, and then fight them one at a time. But I'm like, oh, I don't need to do that. I can just fight them both at the same time. What's the worst that could happen? Could die. Well, it's okay. Kinda hitting them and stuff. The annoying thing about fighting these guys is trying to get a good angle to hit them, because obviously if you hit their shield, you're not going to do any damage. You know, I took the first one out. Because the thing you have to remember is their shields don't even function like normal shields. It's literally more like an actual object, not an item, not like a shield. Because it doesn't, if you hit it, it's not even going to do any sort of block damage that can sometimes happen. It literally functions as just like a wall. Which I guess makes sense. It's a pretty huge shield. And of course there's this guy here, who drops a really good item. Like, if you're speedrunning through the game or whatever, and you only have, the Drake Sword or the Lightning Spear, God forbid you've gotten this far with those things, the Crystal Halberd here is a good upgrade for you. It's going to outdamage those by quite a bit, and the stat requirements aren't that high. But again, it's not something I would suggest using for a long time. It's just a temporary solution. The same way the Drake Sword and Lightning Spear are just temporary solutions. Now I think I have enough to level, but then I get the idea, wait, shouldn't I fight these guys too? I'm pretty sure they're guarding a Titanate chunk or something. I actually don't remember. I usually don't bother fighting them anymore. It's not really worth it, I don't think. But I figure, why the hell not? And I think this goes really badly. Because again, should not be fighting two at the same time. Just kind of stupid. Like, I don't even know why I'm trying to lure him out. What's the point if you're gonna fight both of them? Oh god. Well, I guess the point is you can get stuck in this corner and get destroyed. Oh god. Gonna die. This is such a bad idea. Which I'm starting to realize. Like, well, I can't even really hit them with two of them, because the second I get an opening to attack one, the next one will attack me. Could this be foreshadowing to the boss? The boss of this area? Ooh, I got lucky that that stunned. Was it luck or did I know? Who knows? I don't remember. Oh, oh god, I'm gonna die. Such a bad idea. I'm not giving up. Oh, I accidentally still had one-handed weapon. And I'm dead. That is what happens when you're stupid, and that will be a good place to stop this episode.